Welcome to Guns Gear Network, everyone. Appreciate you tuning in today. The topic of today is storing spices. I did a video the other day about storing food. I was actually doing some rotating out, bringing in some new items that I had bought and was trying to get those packaged up, which is essentially beans and rice, and I discussed that a little bit in that video about they're one of the most economical two items that you can buy. And of course, people always talk about, hey, you're going to get tired of eating beans and rice, and I totally agree. And you also store other things as you can afford them and buy them. But one of the things that can help you avoid not getting tired of what you eat as much is spices. Whether you're going out and killing game and bringing it back and cooking it, or whatever the case may be, could be, again, beans, rice, and anything else you have. But we're used to eating spices. And also, spices can have medicinal purposes. There's a lot of books and knowledge out there about certain spices and things and herbs that have medicinal purposes. So keep that in mind too. But if you're not storing spices, I highly recommend that you do. Now, we cook a lot here at the house, so we have a lot of spices on hand at any given time. And I also did a video about a bug out list. Well, on that bug out list, that one of the instructions is grab all spices out of the spice drawer. So again, if you go back in history, which history tends to repeat itself, if you go look at history, the spice trade that they talk about was centuries and centuries and centuries ago. We're talking about 4th, 5th century up into the 15th century and things like that, where they traded spices for other goods and services and things like that. The silk trade, and you talk about, just like I said, go back and look at history. History tends to repeat itself, and if in a short term, it's not going to really matter too much, because it would take you forever to use up your onion powder in a month. But long term, crap hits the fan situation, where maybe the trucking industry's down, maybe there's a fuel shortage, maybe there's whatever the case that cuts down on the trucking industry being able to deliver goods. Well, if that happens, then you're going to have shortages of a lot of different things. They're going to bring in what's necessary a lot of times, and I don't think they're going to consider spices necessary. But so that's going to help, if you have them stored, to be able to use those to your benefit, either for yourself or to trade off for other things that you may need. But if you're not storing spices, be sure you're doing that. Spices can be expensive, I have to admit. It's nothing more than I hate. We're out of something, I go to the grocery store and I look, and a little bitty thing is like $6, and I understand that. However, one place that I found that has a pretty good value, and I've looked online, and there's certain things you can buy at the Dollar Tree, and there's certain things you can't, that are a good value. One of the items that everybody always mentions that do these bloggings about Dollar Tree and things like that, mention spices, because this right here came from the Dollar Tree, that big one there, and they're $1. They don't have as big a selection on spices as your grocery store and things like that, but they do have a large enough selection that I think that you should go over there and buy whatever they have. Buy one or two of each, spend $10, $15, $20, and spend $5 at a time. And that's what I talk about in a lot of my videos, is budgeting yourself. I talked about that with the beans and rice. 25 pounds of rice, 10 pounds of beans is like $15, $16. Go spend $5 on spices. Some main spices that you may like: onion powder, garlic powder, paprika, red pepper, things like that are pretty common, that most people like. Buy those, store them up, go back and buy 5 more next week, buy 2 more next week. So prioritize your money. As a matter of fact, I've got a change jar. Every day when I come home, I take my pocket and dump my change in it. And a lot of times I'll use that for something, and you could do the same thing. Just budget your items and make sure that you're putting spices in it, because they have a lot of different purposes, medicinal purposes, that herbs and spices can do that. Research that. I've got a book on herbs and spices for medicinal use. Research it. You don't have to buy the book. Maybe you can just print off some material, some basic ailments, sore throat, headaches, things like that. Just go ahead and gather that information and print it off, or put it on a thumb drive, whatever the case, that would help you store that information and keep it, that you can use it later. So anyway, guys, appreciate you tuning in. if you like our videos, give us that thumbs up. That's always helpful. It helps us with YouTube and the way they share videos, content, and things like that. It's always helpful, and it also lets us know you're enjoying our videos. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe if you like our videos, because there's a way you can go in and subscribe and ask if you want to be alerted to new videos, and it'll allow you to do that. As we put out new videos, you'll be able to get an alert and let you know that we've produced one, and you get to watch it. You don't have to watch them all. You may not have any interest in spices, and I understand that. So it's just kind of specific. If you don't want it, it doesn't really matter. You can just move on. But anyway, guys, I appreciate you tuning in. As always, like, share, and subscribe, and we'll be making another video shortly for you guys. Have a great day.